So I'm joined by Joe Martin. He's the founder and CEO of Tickle, and you've found a very, very different way to solve the problem of consumers not actually engaging with ads. So do you want to give us a bit of a, first of all, a bit of a kind of a intro to you, who you are, your background and stuff, and then the company. What is Tickle?
Yeah, absolutely. So to give you a background, before I was doing Tickle, I launched a company called Snatch, which was very different but similar in many ways, in that we created an augmented reality treasure hunt where we hid ads across the country. We let people find them, they'd snatch them off each other, defend them. It was like crazy. Like, it was number one on both app stores. It was the leading customer acquisition platform for the majority of our 200 brands. And the interesting thing about that is I always come at things from like a consumer perspective first. And I wanted to find a way that you could make advertising the interesting part of the engagement, if you know what I mean. Okay, yeah. You go to a website today, you see an ad, that's not what you're there for. You go to Snatch, you are being shown ads effectively. You're then saying, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one.
You're there for the ad,
That for the ad, or the product, that then gets put onto the map, you can go out and find it. Now, that is effectively a consumer raising their hand saying, right, I want this pair of trainers from Reebok, right? So then at the end of the day, 10 people might win a pair of trainers from Reebok. But if 100,000 people have said, I wanted that, Reebok now know that the 99,990, I shouldn't have picked that number. They can go back and say, look, we know you didn't win it, but here's 10% off if you buy the trainers in the next 24 hours.
Okay.
So that company got acquired, and I just wanted to continue pulling on that thread. And that mechanic in particular of asking the right question or enabling the consumer to answer that question and say, I want this, is what I wanted to look at in terms of advertising at scale, which led me to Tickle, which is effectively that mechanic, but for ads. So we've built an infrastructure which enables any ad format to be saved for later directly into the mobile wallet. It's incremental to existing creative, so we can either bolt it on through DSPs directly with the creative, get brands live in less than 24 hours, and then the consumer saves it to the mobile wallet. That opens up a channel. So the brand now knows that these people are interested in that product, but you're not forcing the consumer to click and take action in the moment, which is the biggest reason why people don't click, because they don't want to be interrupted. So this is, yes, I'm interested, but I'll come back to it later.
Okay. So I love it, but it's kind of counterintuitive in a world where people are avoiding ads, they don't like ads get in the way, it's ad cluttered environment. But now you're saying people want to actually save that ad, not even click on it.
Well, look, I mean, who's touting those messages, I guess. Problem is right now, the industry is binary. You click or you don't click. And that's effectively what people are measured on, and that's the dashboards, the CFOs are measured on, and everything else. So what we're doing is we're effectively creating that third state, which is save and come back to it later, which is in general how people shop, right? Particularly if you think about cars, holidays, those kind of longer consideration pieces. If I went and booked a holiday now without telling my missus, I'm in trouble, apart from anything else. But just in general, things take more time and consideration. So I don't, and this is what I used to talk about at Snatch as well, people don't hate advertising, they hate being interrupted. And if you can find a way of an ad not behaving like an ad, then you actually see that there are deep levels of engagement, and then there's a value exchange as well.
So tell me a bit about, I guess, what ads work best, because again, I love the idea, but it's so counterintuitive. Thinking consumers are actually saving ads. So what ads are working best? What's the CTA, or what's the little bit something gets people saving?
So we're trying to work that out ourselves, right? So when we came out last year, we tested across multiple brands here in the UK, from automotive to fashion to beauty and travel. And basically the mechanic is, and this was open web programmatic, so you scroll up a page, you'll see a mask on the ad that says swipe to save, and then it has a little bounce, so it kind of draws the eye. And then people swipe it, it goes into the wallet. across 6-7 initial campaigns, consistently we were hitting 20x increase in ad engagement, which is insane.
Yeah.
So that kind of said, well, actually, we've tapped into a human behavior rather than just it works for this vertical or this vertical.
Okay.
Now that we're more mature in what we're doing and we have more data and analytics behind it, we can see that there is a propensity across particular verticals, like CPG in itself. So we've just been running campaigns with Pampers, and they did have a coupon attached to it, $10 off, like Pampers, right? So that's always going to be a driver as well.
Yeah.
But they had like 21% post-click action rate of consumers either clicking straight to site or saving the ad, because there's a for that ad unit we have an option to do either.
Okay.
And then after 43 days, 54% of the people who saved it had gone back to the card in their wallet, clicked through to site and taken an action.
Wow. Okay.
And I think that kind of validates that when we're not blasting people with notifications. It's like a cadence of like one a week, just reminding people. And then eventually it's falling into the right time where they have the mental availability to come back to the ad that they saved.
So I was going to ask you about in terms of how many notifications do you get? Because there is, again, it's sort of common industry parlance that there are too many messages, we're bombarded by too many messages, so many emails, and social media, it's everywhere. And I guess notifications also, people kind of find every app wants you to say yes to notifications, and it can get annoying. So how do you make sure they're actually useful communications?
So the consumer has full control.
Okay.
Effectively what is happening is when the consumer sees an ad, they are saving it as a branded savable asset in the phone. So on the card that they save, they can opt out by turning off notifications. Okay. They can delete the card entirely. They can go through the link on the back to opt out officially for GDPR, CCPA, etc. One of the biggest learnings, just from I guess my previous industry, gaming, apps, etc., the number one reason why people delete apps is because they get bombarded with notifications.
Yeah, okay.
Like, and you all get it. So it's self-policing from the perspective that a consumer can turn it off, but then we control the rails in the aspect that we're not going to let a brand hammer out 3 notifications a day. It doesn't make sense to do that. And of 50 plus brands, no one's pushed back on that, which has actually been quite refreshing, because I was typically expecting
you would expect, yeah.
But then when I literally just say that, I was like, look, number one reason people delete apps is because of that. And then they're like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, cool. So don't do it.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, tell me a bit more about, because I love it. I'm sort of struggling a bit, but I do understand it. What works best in terms of, I've seen a pair of Nike trainers, save that to my phone. In terms of then, I know you talk about it as a channel of communication between a brand and consumer. What works best? You're making sure they don't bombard consumers, but how can a brand best keep that engagement channel live and active?
It's obviously, as you can imagine, there's various different outcomes that we work with. So if you want to do an app download, we add that to the card itself. We're working with other CPG companies and driving people footfall into store. Okay. We've just done a campaign with Burger King. So you're effectively saving the ad. I think it was buy one Whopper, get one free. So the coupon side of it does work. And then on the back of it, you can drive people to find their nearest Burger King. We can do location-based triggers, so when they are near Burger King, it actually pops up. My apartment right now is a Burger King from testing. And I need to turn that off, because every time I go home, I'm literally just in Burger King. It's on my screen. But whatever mechanic it is, or whatever outcome I should say the brands are looking to do, all we do is we amplify it, or I should say we defer the outcome, and then we amplify it using the different, like the messages and everything else. But it's simple, it's not rocket science, but we are playing into a consumer habit that already exists when people are screenshotting ads. To come back
Tell me a bit about that consumer habit you identified. Something I didn't know was really going on. So how did you identify it, and why people do it in the first place?
Well, this is it. So when I did, after Snatch got bought, I had like some time to kind of swan around and see what I wanted to do next. And the biggest question for me was, how people engage with ads, why they don't engage with ads, and what they do instead. People don't engage with ads because they don't want to be interrupted. Easy. Then we started asking questions, and something that I'd always done personally is screenshot ads. Like if I went to my photo roll now, you just see screenshots of ads or me taking pictures of like ads on the subway. And that's kind of where it clicked. It was like, well, shit, I got brands all on this side of me going, I got 0.x engagement rate, and we're burning through capital. We don't have any data. We don't actually know what's real. And then I got consumers on this side screenshotting, and of those 78% that said they were doing it, like 88% do it multiple times a month.
Okay.
So you've got the intent, you've got the habit, but you don't have the infrastructure. So we wanted to create the bridge between that. So now you've got a consumer going, all right, I'll come back to that later. Easy, carry on inside the environment they're in. And then the brand knows about it. So it then comes full circle to what we were trying to achieve with Snatch, which is a value exchange between the consumer and the brand. The consumer wants to find out more information about the products and brands they're interested in, and ideally get either some exclusivity or some money off or something like that. And the brand just simply wants to know who's interested in their product, and they want it to be real. And I think that's the biggest thing that we're finding is rising to the top when we're.
When you say what they want to be real, what do you mean?
As in human.
Okay.
So by definition, you're not going to get a bot that can swipe an ad, save it to a wallet. So we know that everything coming through our rails is human, and that intent is there, and that's powerful. Because we also see the other side of it, and the synthetic traffic, which is going to get more and more and more. So having worked on brand side before previously and launched other companies as like CMO, I know exactly the pain point, because I'm being told data by the agency, and I'm literally like, what does that tell me? And then I'm asking questions, okay, well, how much of this, is real? I can't get answers for it. So the industry's kind of been stuck in that right now. And I think the biggest problem is that the industry has, or is, optimizing for the point of delivery rather than the point of decision. And those two actions or elements are very far apart in reality. So our goal is to create the bridge between it. And it's all driven by a consumer habit that already exists, but seems to have gone unnoticed.
Totally. I hadn't noticed by me for a while. When you've sort of discovered that, what do you find out in terms of the most interesting reasons why were people, why were you saving these ads? Was it just because you like the ad, or you thought you'd be able to buy it sometime? Or what's the human kind of psychology behind this ad saving behavior?
I think it's just you're interested, so you want to save it for later. Much like, what was the app Pocket, when you've got articles, so you're saving articles. It's almost, one way of thinking of it is everything else in the world right now is on demand. Right, from obviously streaming, everything exactly, consuming on a daily basis, except for ads. Ads are still stuck in a world where the industry is getting very good at interrupting people. But then on the other, you've got number one reason people don't engage with an ad is they don't want to be interrupted. Over here, it's like, well, we can make ads, especially now with AI, we can make the creative faster, we can optimize it faster, we can deploy it faster. Like, I don't think the question is, or the right question is, how do we interrupt people more often? The one thing that we can't touch with AI right now is attribution and engagement. So I don't think it matters how the ad gets in front of the consumer. What matters is that it is an actual human, and that they have a reason to engage with it. And then that just comes down to you're not going to sell anything to anybody that doesn't want it. So the targeting, of course, is important. But then a human, in general, we like to do things tomorrow or later, especially with reading something, right? And it is never did I think when we did that original poll, it was going to be anywhere near 78%.
It's surprising.
Like unprompted as well, from the perspective that they had various different options. But now in every campaign that we do, that's playing out.
It is. It's funny because I was thinking about my own behaviour, and I thought it was so surprising. But thinking back, I remember I do kind of mentally save ads about hotels I go with my wife to, or sort of with me often shoes on buy that sort of thing. They're gone. You can't find it again. So it does sort of make more sense.
Yeah, I make lists as well.
Yeah.
But then it goes back to newspaper and post.
Yeah.
So in the newspaper, I remember when I was a kid, like ripping stuff out of the newspaper.
Totally. Yeah.
I don't have a figure for it, but that's still huge in the US. Like massive market, and you're putting that in your physical wallet.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the next extension of that, but somewhere that evolution got skipped.
Yeah. I get it. So tell me about how you're working with the buy side agencies, brands direct, DSPs. Yeah, how are you getting to market?
Yeah, so obviously we did a lot of work with brands direct. We still do. We've built it specifically to be as light touch, lightweight as possible. So we can turn a brand on in 24 hours with existing campaigns, existing creative across any platform. And then literally, as soon as it's on there, it's ready to go and the data starts coming in. We're getting a lot of interest now with retail media networks, with DSPs, because of you're at Cannes, right? So a lot of the conversation, the really interesting conversations this year was everybody's kind of worked out what they're doing with AI.
Yeah.
Now it's okay, well, what actually matters? Yeah. And first party data matters. The consumer is starting to matter, which is kind of wild that it hasn't been a forefront previously. And you've got retailers becoming the networks, you've got creators becoming the publishers, but it's all back to the data.
Yeah.
And if you've got AI as table stakes, then the big differentiator, the big winner is going to be the people who have the data. And we have a very unique position where we have intent-based data, which is 100% deterministic.
And 100% consumer-driven, I think is fascinating.
And consumer-driven. So working with the DSPs makes complete sense, as well as the SSPs as well. Like, there is no reason, and I'm going to say this as a founder, there's no reason that every ad shouldn't be savable as an option, because it remains clickable. But you're giving that optionality for it to live on beyond that moment into months of engagement. And that's our goal. So everywhere we go, we're now running savable ads or on our rails across 4 continents.
That's my last question, really, about in terms of where you're geographically as a company. What's the structure and what's the sort of long-term?
So we're a UK company. Obviously, you've got to represent that. I live in New York, so moved out there. A lot of my connects from Snatch are out there as well. US moves fast, and I think there's competition everywhere, but there's a competitiveness in the US which gets people to move faster on new innovations. So we're operating...
What about consumers as well? The difference between consumers in the US and Europe for this sort of innovation?
Yeah, we're not... It's pretty standard. The results are standard. We just did our first campaign in Mexico. That was strong as well, but skewed more to Android, which I think you'd expect. We just did a campaign with Prada in Korea. Again, skewed towards Android, but the results remain the same. It's like a 20 to 30% post-click action rate, and then we don't know what the rebound is on that yet because it's only just gone, but typically 3, 4, 5 weeks, consumers are still coming back off the back of the notifications.
But I love it. It's just totally sort of counterintuitive, the general level of thinking, I think, at the moment for advertisers. So I just think, amazing. Great to meet you. Good luck.
No, I really appreciate it. Good to talk.
Thank you so much.